Okay, and obviously we will have formatted the NA as well, so I'm just going to use Format Painter to just format. Basically, Format Painter means copy the formatting from the cell I was on. Now, the other thing that you might want to also do is not have this sort of green bit showing every time. So you can highlight the cells with the green thing showing, and then drop down this and just say ignore the error, okay, and that will go away. Okay, now what's the problem with the VAT? Well, basically what happens is if we drag that down, all sorts of weird and wonderful things start happening, and the reason for that is because the VAT rate, which is written over here, which is B11, in the formula above it's B11, then it becomes B12, so it's trying to multiply it with the word range, then it becomes B13, B14, B15, okay, which is like totally rubbish, which we don't want, because we want B11 to stay B11 even though we've dragged the formula down. So there's two ways of doing this. One is to click where it says B11, and then on your keyboard you will have the F4 function key. So if you press the F4 function key, it puts a $sign in front of the B and a $sign in front of the 11. And that basically, the way you read the $sign is to say always B, always 11. Okay, if you press F4 again, it's B, always 11, and if you press it again, it's always B11. If you press it again, it's back to B11. So if we press F4 and get to always B, always 11, it means that in this formula, don't change the B11. Okay, so we can do that, fill it down, and then all is just hunky-dory. Okay, so that's all fine, and we'll have to deal with this NA error in a minute. The other way of doing it, all right, because there's always two ways of doing it, is instead of having this cell called B11, we could just call it VAT rate. Okay, so, or just VAT if you wanted. You could probably just get away with just saying VAT. Okay, so now in your formula, instead of saying times always B, always 11, you just say times VAT because you've named it. And then you can drag that down and it works and everything is hunky-dory. Right, great. Okay, let's see whether we can format this NA error out of the way. So highlight any of the cells that we've formatted to get rid of the error. And then, because we just want it to go white, basically, the text, click on Format Painter, which is under Home, and drag it down to the 10 items that you fill in, and it just formats it. It just copies the formatting. That's all that does. And we can ignore the other green corner boxes if you want to. Okay. All right, so we've got our formula in, and the next few bits, before we go on to those, I just need to show you that again, we update this, and in the VAT, we say things like price times number required times the VAT rate, and you say, because you haven't done this anywhere else, actually, you say that it's an absolute reference, either because you named it or because you're using always B, $B, $11, all right? And you can actually use that. And we put the formula in for subtotal, which is the VAT, plus the price times the number required. Okay, and then the other things that I've highlighted here is that you've formatted these ranges. If you named VAT, then say you named it. If you didn't use always B, always 11, and I've said what the VLOOKUP formula is. Okay, so we've got these things now to do at the bottom, which is the total cost, the total VAT, right, which are just very straightforward formula, apart from one for the discount, which is a bit more clever, and you're actually learning something new with that one. So let's have a look at what we need to put at the bottom of the sheet. So we need to have a total cost, we need to have total VAT, and then we have to have a total with the VAT, and then we give a discount to orders over a particular amount, and the delivery charge is £5, and then we have a grand total right at the end of it. Okay, so let's just make some items, just put some in so that you know, we can, oh, maybe not the same one as before. So we've got a few numbers there, okay, to have a look at. All right, so the total cost, that's just very straightforward. That's just going to be a sum of the items. So I'm going to click on the sum column. Right, let's see what we're actually adding up for the total. All we're adding up is, oh, we haven't got a total cost column. That's a bit odd. Yeah, that's a bit odd. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the total VAT and then the total including VAT, and then I might take the VAT away to get the total cost, although we shouldn't really do it that way. But let me just show you how to quickly do the totals for the VAT. So again, this is a sum formula, so find your sum button and it puts the sum in, and it's expecting you to highlight the comments that we want to add up. So what the cell values that we want to add up. So for VAT, we want to add up anything in these cells because a customer can buy up to 10 goods, right? And we just press enter to get our total VAT. Okay, and then so that sum is giving us a bit of an issue, so I'm just going to do that again because I've just worked out a resolution for that. So we're just summing the total, which is just adding up everything in the subtotal up to here. And what that does is it gives us an NA error. Okay, so what we need to do, I've put that in the wrong column, sorry. Let me just do that again. So equals, whoops. So let me just click on the sum button again. And it's the total of the VAT. So that's this column here. So not the other one that I highlighted. Just those numbers there. Press enter. Gives an NA error. And the only way that we can sort of move around that is to SumIf. Okay, so I've put the word if in front of that. And then after my range, which mine goes up to F21, I just put in a comma, okay, and then in quotes, double quotes, I'm going to put greater than 0. So basically that's just saying only include those things which are greater than 0 to add up. Okay, that's great. All right, so I've got that, and then let's do the same for the other one. So let's just do summing of the last column here, which is this one here. So sum that, and again we have to put an if in front of it. So SumIf, and that's our range. And if in quotes we put, so comma, quotes, greater than 0, close our quotes, enter. So that gives us that. And so then the only thing we're missing is the cost without the VAT, and that's just straightforwardly the cost with the VAT, take away the total VAT. So that's what it would be without the VAT. That's the VAT, and that's the total amount. So that's great, and we can put those formulae into our design sheet. And then we're going to look at the delivery charge. So the delivery charge is £5. So I formatted this because you can just type in 5 and then click on this currency format here, and that puts the pound signs in. I did that with all of these. And then we've got a discount. Now the discount is quite an interesting one. So let's just find out how much discount we get on and on what amount. And we'll do that on the next video.